Hi, my name is Chris Melnick and I'm a realtor in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today I'm going to talk about red flags in home construction. There are certain things that always make a home inspection report and can be such an issue, the mere presence of them is a deal breaker. Knowing these common red flags can help you avoid these types of homes that may have these issues when you're viewing the homes or in the PDS. I'll also mention the time period when they were commonly used. But remember, these red flags were just installed during these time periods for both new construction and during renovations on older homes. So just because a home is older than these time periods mentioned doesn't mean it wasn't added later. Number 1, aluminum wiring. This was from approximately 1965 to 1975. Aluminum wiring was first used in the mid-1960s because it was cheaper than copper. The wiring itself is safe. The issue is just that the connections, which are switches, receptacles, and junctions. These connections can become loose or corrode over time, leading to overheating and fires. The fix for this issue is to add copper pigtails at every connection, and that's generally deemed safe. Some people still just don't want to deal with these potential problems though. Next, number 2, knob and tube wiring. This is from about 1880 to 1940. Knob and tube wiring was a precursor to the modern wiring system. These systems have no ground and are at a higher risk for fires. It can be very challenging, if not impossible, to find an insurer to insure a home with knob and tube wiring. It's generally considered an item that just must be replaced. Sometimes older homes may have had some of their wiring replaced with modern wiring while leaving the old knob and tube hidden beneath the walls. If functional receptacles are visible with no grounds, that's typically an indication that there's knob and tube present. Number 3, asbestos. This was commonly used prior to about 1980. Asbestos is a mineral that's very good at insulating. In its pure state, it's green, but it can be found in floor tiles, ceiling tiles, plaster, pipe insulation, loose insulation in the form of contaminated vermiculite and siding. The only real way to know if something contains asbestos is to test it. It can severely damage your respiratory system if inhaled, but the only way it can be inhaled if it's disturbed. If left untouched, it's generally deemed to be safe. Many public buildings are full of asbestos. Now, aside from the risk of disturbing it, the cost of removal can be very expensive. If you're, say, renovating, I paid about $5,000 for the asbestos removal around the small boiler in my previous home. If an 1,500 square foot home full of asbestos needs to be demolished, that asbestos removal can cost $30,000 to $50,000. Everything needs to be contained, they have to create a vacuum, and they may even need to set up a decontamination shower for the workers. If you're extremely health conscious or have renovations on the horizon, it may be a good idea just to avoid these types of homes. If you plan to leave it untouched, it can be safe. Most older homes on the peninsula likely contain asbestos. Number 4 and 5, Poly B plumbing, which was from 1985 to 97, and Kitec, which was from 1995 to 2007. Poly B and Kitec were plastic water lines, which were sometimes used before our modern day PEX. During these time periods, copper was the alternative, but these new plastic water lines were much cheaper. Both of these types of plumbing were known to be more prone to leaks and bursts. At one point in time, it used to be extremely challenging to get an insurer to insure a home with one of these systems. Over time, though, it's become more apparent that some homes just weren't affected at all, and they've been problem-free with their original systems for nearly 40 years. So it's now much easier to insure. My thoughts are that if you're looking at identical homes with identical prices, with one having PEX or copper, the other having Poly B or Kitec, go for the PEX or copper. Also, if you're very risk averse and just want to avoid potential issues, go with the PEX or copper. On the other hand, if the home is very unique or if you're getting a discount on the price and able to insure it, then it can make sense to buy one of these homes. If something were to go wrong, at least, then the insurance would pay for it, and you'd just be inconvenienced while things were being repaired. But just be aware of the risks. Some people have had bad experiences with Poly B or Kitec and will never touch a home again with one of those systems. So remember that too when it comes to resale. Number 6, CertainTeed siding, which was from 1998 to 2016. CertainTeed is a brand of fiber cement siding that has had a class action lawsuit against it because it can fail prematurely during certain environmental conditions, requiring replacement. This includes warping, cracking, and shrinkage. The potential damage isn't catastrophic, it's mostly cosmetic, with the potential for water intrusion. Some homes with CertainTeed siding just never experience issues. But those experiencing issues or are looking for peace of mind typically completely replace the siding with vinyl. And those are the main red flags in construction in Nova Scotia. None of these have to be absolute deal breakers because at the end of the day, every part of a home can be repaired or replaced, but without a doubt, they reduce the value and desirability. Depending on the price and your risk tolerance, a home with one of these systems may still be a good buy as long as you know what you're paying for. Also, if you've been paying attention to the date ranges, you may start to pick up on why I like homes built in the 1980s. I'll make a video just on that topic at a later time. Now, hopefully you've got some value out of this video. My contact information is in the description. Goodbye.